We're back. Welcome back to Una Faccia, Una Razza. My name is
Woo!
Chris. That's Nick.
I did the thing. Anyway, sorry.
He said he wasn't going to use any sound effects. I told him that he should use sound effects. We thought we would just start the episode by catching whoever's listening up on probably the topic we were most closely following
Back
last
to our
time
roots,
around,
baby.
to our roots, our Una Faccia, Una Razza roots. And that is talking about the Kendrick Drake beef. Someone like Conan O'Brien at the Oscars making a joke about Kendrick call Drake a pedophile.
Yeah.
Just to kind of bring it back full circle, like that's where we are now in that whole segment. Big Oscars fan, by the way. We should talk about that a little bit, only because I know
Yeah.
you are a huge cinephile. You saw most, if not all, of the movies that were nominated for Best Picture. Don't
I'm
do
a
that.
wannabe.
Don't shrug. No,
I'm a
you are.
wannabe film bro, I guess is the term
Compared to
people
me,
use.
I bestow that title upon you as someone who is not. And like the worms that are like they're outside the ship because they're on this like side. It's like a science fiction satire, I guess, and they're on this ice planet. And there are these worms that are outside, and then once the worms come inside, I just felt like the whole movie changed, and I didn't like the second half as much.
I'm a newfound Robert Pattinson fan.
Something about a sex doll, right? Is there like a sex doll plot?
I'll try and edit this pod as well as Honora was edited. Let me see him, dude. Let me see him.
Are you're serious? Okay.
It seemed great, dude. What do you I'm stoked. This is our third podcast, and um it is now going to be the second podcast where I talk about having going to the movies and having edibles and being worried about shitting myself. But Honora has one of the funniest scenes I've seen in a movie in a long time.
Hell, dude, no, I can't sit down for a 3+ hour movie. I'm
There's a
sorry.
dude, there is an intermission which I think maybe should be normalized in intermissions in movies.
I wanted to ask you about your semi-recent travel experience coming up to my neck of the woods, San Francisco, for the NBA All-Star Weekend. So we both went to NBA All-Star Weekend on different days. I went on Saturday, and then you went on Friday. And we have talked amongst ourselves about this. I think it's safe to say that I maybe had slightly little better experience than you.
I was like a little bit too awkward to ask, but then like I kind of asked, but then I was like, yo, can I get a selfie? And it was instead of like, having confidence, and I was just like had the taste of like, oh, I'm going to get to like say what's up to an NBA player, and then didn't get it. So that was kind of like a letdown. She like had the camera ready and didn't think to like, I'm going to just take a picture of him standing next to these people.
It's awkward, right? Because like they're getting bombarded. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that a-hole who is like, oh, like Charles Barkley's like who he play for game, because Charles Barkley doesn't the open secret is that he doesn't actually follow the NBA, so he doesn't know who any of these players are. But they had like a game where it's like if you could guess 5 players in a row, you would win like a bucket hat or a scarf or something. And I got the bucket hat. I should have had that nearby as a prop. It's somewhere. Next episode, I will wear the bucket hat at some point.
You mean when I won? Like I don't remember how much money I won because it's just it was too long ago. But I won. You saw that guy, right? That was me.
I was maybe the third or fourth person to like get a picture of him. He was just like walking up the street, and there was like
He's like 7 feet, right?
he's tall, man. He's tall. He is, yeah. I believe he's around 7 feet. And he's young too. He's a rookie. I mean, he was drafted like he was one of the last picks.
Felt like an in memoriam for Vince Carter. Is like, dude, this dude is alive. Like
He's right there. He's standing right there. He's judging.
in our first two podcasts, I especially was just guilty of um, talking too much about what's going on in my life. So I had this idea that we should like carve out a reoccurring segment on our pod for at the end we can do like we can come up with a better name, but for now the name I have is what's going on IRL, and keep it to like a shorter amount of time. I'll try and just say one thing that's going on in my life instead of giving you like a whole vacation rundown like I was doing the first two episodes. my wife, it was like a week-long ordeal where my wife accidentally had 2 fish oil vitamins in her pocket and then did laundry, and then like all of her scrubs smelled like fish, and then all of our clothes that got washed after that were smelling like fish, so we had to like figure out how to get rid of the fish smell. Ate some really good food. We went to one of the Thomas Keller restaurants, not the French Laundry, but Ad Hoc, which is known for having like really good fried chicken, best fried chicken in Napa, everyone says. And we tried that. It was quite good. And then on our way home, I had my first glory hole experience.
Going to the city. So I have my friends, Vic and Amy, who run a burger. Now I can call it a
Oh,
restaurant called Smish Mash. You are familiar with
Chef
them.
Vic,
You've had
isn't
them.
that what you
Chef
call him?
Vic, Chef
That's
Vic,
good.
and his partner Amy. They are two of the hardest working people I know. They opened this pop up called Smish Mash in May of 2020. Actually, not far from where I live now. I met
So
Vic
good.
at the food bank in Alameda. We were both volunteering in 2020 because we both had time on our hands, and I, just needed something to do. And he told me about his business. I've been following them ever since. They are so genuine, so kind, and so hardworking. And after 4+ years of just grinding their asses off, they signed a year lease at this food hall in San Francisco on Market Street. I'm just so happy for them because they have put in so much work into this, and now they're finally like Vic is now he's gotten to a point where he's been able to like hire some people and like take some time off himself, and he doesn't need to be there 7 days a week. And same goes for Amy. So just very very fulfilling and very satisfying. So I just had my 1 year anniversary at the TV station I'm currently at. So just gonna keep. Aw, thank you, thank you. You're too kind. You're too kind. So yeah, so we'll see what the future holds. But yeah, man, it's been so far so good.
Here, real quick before we go, can I do my Donald Trump impression? You know that clip? He got hit in the mic, and then he just kind of like he just raised his eyebrows. I think it was more of like I can't really do it, but Anyways,